Gamers all around the flat universe. Some news for you. This came out, I think it was yesterday, but I'll quickly go through it now. I didn't read it off of stream because I wanted to do it with you guys because I heard there's some interesting things. So, what's the news? Blizzard vet startup RTS Studio with Tencent backing. Says Lightspeed and Quantum's new Uncapped games aiming to make an accessible entry in the genre without sacrificing strategic depth. What? Anyway, Uncapped Games. So this is the new company. That is, lead game designer of it is David Kim. I don't know if you guys know who David Kim is, but David Kim is the guy that was also lead designer for Wings of Liberty, and I'm not sure when he stopped. I think it was lead designer in Heart of the Swarm as well. So this is kind of big news because not only we have Dreamhaven, the split of Blizzard, right, with Mike Morhaime in charge. Not only we have Frost Studios, it's also making an RTS game. Dreamhaven is not, I think. I think they're going for more MMO RPG stuff. But we also got another one with D. Kim himself. So what does it say? Uncapped Games lead designer David Kim worked as designer of all three parts of StarCraft 3. Okay, so all three. And while he spent his more recent years in Blizzard working on Diablo 4 and World of Warcraft, he had an itch to return to the real-time strategy genre. You know how you know someone's not in for the money? When they go to the genre that's making the least amount of money right now, then you know he just wants to make a good game. That's a good sign. You know, if RTS was the most popular genre and someone's like, ooh, I'm going to make an RTS game, that's like a money grab, right? But they're just itchy. That's about it. Okay, it says, I've always wanted to take a shot at another RTS game for a very long time, maybe close to a decade. Kim tells Games Industry Biz in a recent conversation. I have been reached out to by various people and I've talked to various companies, but these ones felt like an opportunity of a lifetime for me. If we were going to take a stab at the next great RTS, I thought we needed the right company, the right people within our development team, and we need clearly aligned benefits in what we're trying to do. All right. It turns out the right company was Tencent subsidiary Lightspeed and Quantum Studios, which helped Kim set up Uncapped Games with the right people, including Uncapped. Why is it so hard to say? Lead producer Jason and Uncapped lead engineer Zongshan Zhang, both also Blizzard veterans. So basically everyone at Blizzard left. I've been telling you guys this for a while. There's only interns left at Blizzard. Everyone who was good at making games is gone. And these are the three companies that I told you guys about. Those are the people, all right? Now, I saw some comments already. Oh, Tencent evil. Let me tell you something. Tencent owns like 99% of the games, all right? Or they're investors in 99% of the games. So if you're like, oh, Tencent, I'm worried. Yeah, they're everywhere already, so don't worry about that. Like one of the sponsors for Frost Studios is Riot Games. Do you know who owns Riot Games? It's Tencent. So, yeah. They have money everywhere, alright? Alright, so this is David Kim in the middle, Hughes is on the right, and Zhang is on the left. As for the alignment of beliefs, Kim says the team was very much on the same page as the head of Lightspeed, Jerry Chen, when they met. One of the things he said was, just focus on making a great PC RTS game and don't worry about other factors. See what that says? PC RTS game. So you guys don't need phones. Alright, if you have a phone, that's great. You can play Diablo on it. But this is on PC, okay? The measurement of success is if we have a great game. Kim says, that's true. That's true. Hughes calls the combination a perfect storm of the right people combined with a very clear vision for what they want to achieve. And he says a little quote, it's also really nice to be at a company that really believes in the team, believes in the game, believes in what we're doing. And exactly like David said, there's a lot of RTS interest, especially from the CEO. And he really just wants us to make a great game. You know what's sad? the fact that they have to keep repeating themselves that they just want to make a good game, because gaming industry these days is just a pile of shit. Okay, they're all just trying to grab money. No one gives a crap about games. No one gives a crap about quality. We're literally paying money to test their games for early access and all that shit, and then they don't finish it and they just move to another thing because they grabbed all the money. So it's so sad that they had to say it like 10 times already. Like, we just want to make a good game. We just want to make a great RTS. We just want to work on it. It's just sad, you know? He adds, Lightspeed and Quantum very much believe in the genre. I really want something like this to succeed. To say, just make a great PC RTS game. Oh, to say, okay. That isn't something one hears a lot, and to me that was a big motivating factor. Okay, so this is great. So Frostgiant Studios and these guys are maybe going to be competitors. That's great. You know why this is great? Because as long as there's competition, the players win. This is how this works. Okay? If there's an RTS holding a monopoly over a genre like StarCraft 2 did for a very long time, then the developers or the company can be lazy and not give a shit because there's no one else. You know what I mean? There's no one else. And this is good. This is good. To have two, big names, two big companies going for the same genre at the same time. That's great. Those comments might raise eyebrows considering Uncapped's leaders are all coming from a company where they had access to a semi-final RTS franchise. Seminal. Had access to Seminal? What does that even mean? I can only speak for myself. Hugh says when asked why they had to form Uncapped for this project. For me, it wasn't so much about what was impossible. It was about what really excited me and what is newly possible. Kim adds that part of the ambition for Uncapped's first title was just better suited for a fresh start. Seminal, very important? Alright. Uncapped's leaders are all coming from a company where they had access to... Are they talking about StarCraft? If we're making a sequel to an RTS, there are some things that have to be in the game to make it a sequel. But if we make it a brand new game, it opens up more possibilities on the game design to be able to execute what we want to execute the best. That's the advantage we have here, I think. So what he's saying is... I see what he's saying. So what he's saying is if they were to make a StarCraft 3, some things would have to remain the same, right? Like economy, like unit production, races, right? Right. So they can't be like, okay, StarCraft 3, but no more Zerg, right? It has to be in the game. So what they're saying is we want to make something new, and maybe they have a completely new idea for a strategy game, for an RTS game, right? It doesn't have to be the classic mining and all that. You know, it can be gaining resources another way. Interesting. As for what they want to execute, Kim describes it as the most action-packed PC RTS that has the lowest barrier to entry that is impossible to master. That is still impossible to master. Wow. Wow. Okay. These are big words. I'll tell you this. The most action-packed PC RTS that has the lowest barrier to entry. So this means if you're a complete noob, you can play it and get it, right? You don't need to study for hours to be able to... Alright, sorry about that. Alright, Wayman came home and she did not bring keys. Alright. Lowest barrier to entry, like I said, means that... You know how... Well, a good example of this is shooter games. Shooter games have extremely low barrier to entry, which means... If you play CSGO and you buy like a rifle or a pistol, you can just play. Like everyone understands clicking and shooting. So shooters have a super low barrier to entry, which is why they're so popular. Because so many people can get into it. And this was the problem with StarCraft 2 and RTS games in general, where it seems just extremely, extremely overwhelming. So, lowest barrier to entry that is still impossible to master. I would love to see how they pull that one out, but all right. RTS has been in this place where a lot of the very basic and core fundamental things in the game have not yet been modernized, so it's very difficult to play an RTS. You need hundreds of action per minute to play a competitive RTS game. That's true, and I've said this. How many times have I said what RTS genre needs is not another StarCraft, it needs to be modernized. I've said this so many times. It needs to be updated. We're not in 1999 anymore. As much as I love StarCraft 1, Warcraft 3, StarCraft 2, it's outdated. We need something different. And I'm glad that Frost Giant Studios and they now as well agree with that. They don't want to make another StarCraft. They're trying to do something, new. So what we want to do is modernize a lot of it and make it so that any gamer can play this game. Any gamer. Even Fortnite gamer. Even mobile phone gamers. And to play at a competitive level. You don't need to practice the mechanics of it for a decade. You have to be good at the strategy or countering what you're seeing on the enemy side. We wanted to make a real strategy game rather than one where who can click the fastest is the best player. Ooh. So this is gonna be like a game where I can potentially, as a boomer, be competitive at. This sounds really interesting, I gotta say. But how would you, I'm assuming they have an idea, right? Because they said they all have a clear path and clear idea. I wonder what the idea is. This sounds great, right? Did you write this? I know, right? This is what I've been saying, guys. That StarCraft is, yes, there's strategy, yes, there's skill, but if you can't play at 400 or 500 APM, you ain't gonna win, brother. You ain't gonna win. I'm sorry, you're just not. So I'm very excited for what they're saying here. And I cannot wait. I don't know when they're gonna release anything, probably years to go. But I'm very excited to see what they come up with and what this exactly means. Lost by misclick? I know, that shouldn't happen. It's a strategy game. It's not a fucking, what's that game called? Cookie clicker. That's what StarCraft is a lot of the times. And it shouldn't be like that. It should be strategy first. I'm not saying you should be able to play 20 APM, like, playing with your boogers and winning tournaments, but I think we can all agree that you shouldn't be needing to play at 500 APM to win games. And I know this is like controversial and some people will disagree and they'll say like, oh, that's why they love RTS games and stuff like that. But while Uncapped officially just started last month, Hughes says they believe they've landed on a design that will do just that. So they already got design in place? That doesn't mean dumbed down or simplified. That just means lowering the barrier to entry for more people to expose them to what's great about RTS games. Wow. To execute on that design, Uncapped is hoping to get some version of the game in the community's hands as quickly as possible and to rework it based on the feedback for as long as possible. Iteration, iteration, iteration. Hugh stresses is key to the development process. Get something in the game so we can test it as soon as possible. But eventually when we start bringing players into the game as well, it's going to be about the feedback and about iterating on that design. Hughes says, Hughes, how do you pronounce his name? Hughes? Whatever. I'll call him H. H says he wants to keep the scope of the game manageable and to have the team be as small and agile as possible as well. For now, that means Uncapped is a team of 8 based out of the Los Angeles neighborhood of Playa Vista. They are playas. They have a plan to grow to 20 by the end of this year, and after that, H says the total headcount will be more dependent on milestones and what they need to accomplish and when, rather than anything they've set in stone already. They're a little more concrete when it comes to their goals for the company's for the company culture. We really want people to be honest with each other. H says, we want to be open to transparency, and we're putting an emphasis on respect. We don't want a place where egos are driving any kind of decision or discussion. We want to be very open and ultimately arrive at what is good for the game more than anything. Wow. Uncapped Games. What do you guys think? I mean, it seems to me that Frostjam Studios is going more with a kind of like a little bit of a modernized new RTS genre or game, I guess. But they seem to not be doing that at all. They see, from what I'm getting by reading this, that they want to go completely different way. Like an RTS that's not like StarCraft. Maybe even not like Warcraft. So I'm very curious how they're going to do that. Very, very curious. They're talking the talk. Let's see if they can walk the walk. Yeah, they seem very confident. Like they seem like we have already a goal, what we want to do. We know what we want to do. Now we just got to do it. I'd expect resource management will be removed and remade from scratch. Yeah, I think so as well. Maybe like auto worker creation, maybe some kind of different resource management where you like capture part of the map. I don't know, but it does not seem from what I'm reading here that it's gonna be like StarCraft. I do think they're trying to reinvent the wheel, the RTS wheel, which, I mean, I'm excited. You guys know I love, and I've been saying this for a long time, like they've been saying, about the APM thing, about lower barrier to entry, because RTS games are super scary. And I know this from people that don't play RTS games. When you show them Age of Empires 2 or StarCraft, they're just like, oh, there's so much shit going on. It's extremely hard to learn. They're brave for that though? Yeah, they are. But I'm super excited. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'd love to know what you guys think about this. Love to hear your opinion.